Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy makes this public announcement, and this, yes, will affect all truck drivers driving in America. There's a couple things. I read the definitions and what the changes are, but here are some that I'm just going to say that, hey, I think can be good things. One is there's some old school rules that we have that just suck, right? One is I've gotten a ticket in California, and when I got that fix-it ticket, they made me go back to that state. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And so some things on that is changing. On the tire, there would have to be load markings, and the tire had to have a mark with the load rating on it. And I've literally had good tires on my truck that when it was faded, DOT officer like put me out of service and made me get new tires, and like I had to call the Love's guy to come, and it just sucked because I was like, it's just faded. So there's a couple things in here that make sense. Other things that make sense that were outdated, before I get into this and read off every single one for you guys, is did you know that you actually had to have an ELD operator's manual, like a physical manual in the truck? Yeah, that could live online. They force you to have fuses, and now you don't have to have fuses. But fuses, I would state that you should have fuses with you, because I can't tell you how many times that, a light was out of my trailer or something like that, and you just need to have fuses. So that was something my uncle taught me. So this one right here impacts like anywhere between 2,000 to 4,000 drivers. So they're getting rid of the grandfathered waiver that allowed for the vision standard. So if you are grandfathered in for the vision waiver, let me know, because it affects anywhere between 1,900 and 4,000 truck drivers. And I'm wondering what that's really going to do, or is it just language? What's going on, Mutha truckers? Let's get into this public announcement from Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy. He stated that he wants to make common sense rules, and there was one that President Trump had. He said that he would launch a massive 10-to-1 deregulation initiative. For every order requires that whenever an agency promulgates a new rule, regulation, or guidance, it must identify at least 10 existing rules, regulations, or guidance documents to be repealed. So you want to make up one new rule, 10 have to be rescinded. Recently, Sean Duffy made this public announcement and put this on their FMCSA.gov newsroom website. So this is something that's accurate, that's happening now. My department is slashing duplicative and outdated regulations that are unnecessarily burdensome, waste taxpayer dollars, and fail to ensure safety. They're looking at cutting out over 50 regulations. A lot of these are from the FMCSA. I want to go over these now and share the link to you. And I really want to share some props here to Freight Waves. They have an article where they actually break down each one and why it's important and what has changed. Now, there are 18 right here. I'm going to go over these pretty quickly so that you guys get the information you need. Out of the 18, there are only some that I thought that were really annoying here. But number one, accident reporting, redefining medical treatment. Any visit to a medical facility that resulted in an X-ray or imaging study could push an incident into DOT recordable territory, even if no treatment was actually rendered. So FMCSA is excluding the diagnostic imaging like X-rays and CT scans from the definition of medical treatment. Only prescription medications or interventions beyond diagnostics will count as recordable. Number two, CDL exemptions for dual status military technicians. Reserve technicians and certain National Guard personnel were excluded from CDL exemptions granted to active duty military despite operating similar CMVs. The rule expands exemptions to dual status military technicians under 10 USC 10216, bringing them into line with the 49 USC 31305D. Number three, driver vehicle examination report disposition. Fleets had to return signed roadside inspections reports to issuing agencies within 15 days, regardless of whether the state actually needed or used them. Right? And I remember myself where I had to fix a ticket or something like that, and it was in California. They made me go back to get it checked off. So What's changing is fleets only return signed reports if the issuing state requests it. You still must correct violation within 15 days and document the fixes. This one right here is more for just the new language because we're not really on paper logs anymore. We're on electronic logs. Under general provisions, driver inspection reports could technically be electronic, but the rule language was in pretty much for paper logs, right? This one is interesting right here. Number 5, no more ELD operator's manual in the cab. So if you didn't have a ELD operator manual in the cab, you could get put out of service. How dumb is that, right? And so you don't need a physical manual anymore. Now they're saying that it could just be online. Now this one right here is, I would say, affects people, maybe hotshot drivers more. Listen up, auxiliary fuel tanks, exemption for small ones. So gravity siphon fed auxiliary tanks, even tiny ones used for tools or small motors, had to meet basically the FMCSA standard. Tanks are under 5 gallons for non-vehicle purposes like trailer mounted equipment. Now they get a pass. Number 7, brakes on portable conveyors. You know, it states here in a niche, but a big win. So let me know if you're into this type. It says it used to be portable conveyors need braking systems that many pre-2010 units were never designed for. What's changing? FMCSA proposes to exempt certain pre-2010 portable conveyors used in aggregate industries if they meet other performance and speed limits. So tell me, brakes on portable conveyors. Is that a win for y'all? This one right here actually is annoying, and it has happened to me. Right? Check this out. Number 8, tire load markings. So no more mandate on the sidewall. Fleets can avoid costly tire replacement or downtime over faded markings. Exactly what happened to me. The tires performed still must meet load specs, just not legible proof. That one I like. Spare fuses. So in the past, FMCSA wanted you to have spare fuses on you. Right? CMVs had to carry a spare fuse for every type used in electrical system. I don't know if you ever got a fine for this or not. And my uncle taught me to always have spare fuses on me anyways, because every time I was going through a weigh station, I'm telling you, something always happens. My trailer light goes off, something. So I always needed a fuse and just pray that would work, right? So FMCSA is eliminating this. Trucks use resettable breakers or integrated electronic systems and don't need spares. So this is something that is just saying, hey, the technology is changing. But again, I'm sure a lot of truck drivers, you're going to still have your spare fuses. Number 10, this one's interesting right here. If you had bad vision, back then you could get waived, and there was a grandfather clause for this. And so basically they're removing the grandfather clause from vision standards. So drivers with long-standing vision issues operated under a waiver program that predated newer physical standards. FMCSA proposes ending the grandfather vision waiver program. Existing drivers must be reevaluated according to the modern standards. Fleets should review which drivers may be affected and prepare for the transition. So this one right here, I looked up the grandfathered vision waiver, right? And it said drivers eligible for the grandfathering provision were those who were in good standing. Okay, yes, they had vision problems, but they were in good standing on March 31st, 1996, and who met specific requirements outlined in the regulation. So to maintain their grandfather's status, these drivers had to retain a copy of their certification while driving and comply with other annual medical certification requirements. So here's the thing. If they're getting rid of this grandfathered in, I wonder how many truck drivers this truly will affect. Number 11, railroad crossing stop rule. So what it used to be, all CMVs had to stop at railroad crossings even if warning systems weren't active, right? We all learned that. What's changing? The proposed rule allows drivers to proceed without stopping at crossings with inactive signals. Number 12, water carriers removed from the language. What used to be FMCSA regulations still reference water carriers, a term dating back to Interstate Commerce Commission days. So what's changing? They're scrubbing the term. Why it matters? It doesn't, but it's nice to see some regulatory spring cleaning. That's funny. Number 13, self-reporting of violations. So I've I've had to do this. You guys had to do this. CDL holders may be off the hook. What it used to be, CDL drivers had a self-reporting moving violation to their state license agency. What's changing? FMCSA proposes to eliminate that self-reporting requirement. So why does it matter? States already get violations data electronically. So, hey, I'm happy with that one. Number 14, rear impact guards, no more labeling citations. So rear guards had to carry a label showing FMV SS223 certification. If it faded, fleets got cited. What's changing? FMCSA wants to remove the labeling requirement. Can't get written up for a missing label anymore, but the guards must still meet strength standards. So look, I like this. Just because something has been faded over time, you're getting cited for this, and it just sucks. So that one right there makes common sense to me. Number 15, fuel tank overfill, 95% limit removed. What it used to be, fuel tanks couldn't be filled beyond 95% of their stated capacity. FMCSA proposes removing that cap for modern tanks with vented caps. Number 16, license plate lamps. So this one right here, I've got a ticket for this one. Redundant on truck tractors. What it used to be, every rear plate, even on the truck tractors, need to be lit. What's changing? The exemption applies where the tractor plates are blocked by trailers, making them unreadable anyway. Why it matters? Fewer violations. Man, I remember getting a violation for that. So look, you don't have to do that anymore. Number 17, liquid burning flares, out with the old. What it used to be, flares were on the approved list of emergency devices. So, I wonder how many drivers got, in trouble for not having flares on them, right? And so what's changing? Liquid burning flares are being removed. Why it matters? Reflective triangles and modern LEDs are the standard now. Number 18, retro reflecting sheeting, outdating mandate repealed. What it used to be, pre-1993 trailers had to be retrofitted with retro reflective tape. What's changing? That mandate is gone. Most of those trailers are gone too. Why it matters? Less compliance confusion. Fleets managing older trailers should still verify that visibility is adequate. Overall, there's some in here that I like, right? With the trailer having to get lit, with the tires. I mean, sometimes things get worn down, man, and you just can't read it. And because you can't read it, doesn't mean that you should get a ticket for it if the tire's still good. Right. And so some of this stuff makes sense. My truckers, comment down below. Just here, just helping you guys out and learning as I go. So I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Talk to you guys later.